Welcome to the Greenwoods, John. Well, nice to have you here.
Thank you.
John, I usually start with the first question. Why are you doing what you're doing? Who are you?
Yeah, all right. That's a pretty big question, right? Well, I decided early in life that I would become interested in art. In high school days, of course, way back. And then along came the Vietnam War. I got involved in that as a sailor, U.S. sailor. And so I got torn away from the art idea. Then I was a merchant marine for a couple of years.
So you had art training, full art training before you
No,
joined
I mean,
the Navy.
I had some art in school, but after the military and the sailor days, then it was in 1973 when I had an experience, a kind of a spiritual experience, and that changed everything. I don't know if you...
You'd like to describe a bit?
I was on a ship off the coast of Spain, and suddenly there was this experience of the whole universe as one. Some of you may have had that kind of experience before. And time and space changed for me completely. But it wasn't until a year later that I met the work of Rudolf Steiner. And that was through my brother in America when I went home. And that's when I began my journey of learning a new way of looking at life. And then, of course, I did many different trainings in Europe, and when I became age 40 on my birthday, I decided I would become an artist. So it took about 40 years to decide that and to commit. So that's when I really, I was living in Europe at the time, and I started working my business. I became actually registered as a business, art business in Sweden. And gradually found my way back to America and continued there. And then I got invited to Hong Kong in 2008. And that's pretty soon after I met Simon. And excuse me. So I've been working here in China, mainly Hong Kong and mainland China for the last 14 years. And most of my work has actually been on mainland China before COVID. So the last couple of years, nothing too much, in fact, nothing over there. But now I'm focusing more on Hong Kong.
So why are you staying in Hong Kong?
Well, it's a good place to be. For me, I think it's one of the most amazing cities in the world. I've also traveled quite a lot, and of all the big cities, I call Hong Kong a big city. What do you have, 8 million? Something like that. And I like it's universal, has many things to offer, at least for a Westerner. I think some people are tired of Hong Kong, but not me. I like it here.
We all know that art is very important to you. You're spending these days all your effort, or your energy on painting. What does art mean to you?
Yeah, art, I think to most of us, probably all of us, believe that art is very healing often. Art can be for self-enjoyment. It could also be for serving, as in teaching or something like that. And in my work, which is mostly painting, as you said, I do walls. I do whole interiors, some exteriors, and you will see some of the images, the paintings, in the pictures that we're going to show. So that's why I love art. And I hope that more people learn that art is a way of bringing harmony in English, the word art comes from heart, and that's where what you represent here also, Simon, and all of you. So that's why I think that's how I would introduce that.
But your art is different in the sense that you are very Rudolf Steiner, put it this way, anthropology,
Yeah.
Anthroposophy.
Right.
What does that mean to you? It's mystical. It's
Well, yeah, to keep it really very brief, Rudolf Steiner lived at the turning of last century, not this past century. And he brought a lot of fresh ideas out of his, you could say, initiate vision. And it was more than mystical. It's really a path of knowledge about the spiritual source of everything. And I met this through my brother in 1974, as I mentioned, and Anthroposophy. Anthro means, anthropos is the Greek word for human being, and Sophia, the shortened, so Anthroposophy with a Y on the end is short for Sophia, the wisdom of the human being. So that's what that. It's not, anthropology is the logic, but this is Sophia, which is the wisdom. Okay? And it means a lot to the work that I do because, as you mentioned, I do mainly painting, but I also have done sculpture work, a little bit of sculpture work. And I have done a eurythmy training, which is a art movement 4-year training. And that, I think, influences my art a lot because I bring in the movement into it. And as you will see in the veil painting, you've already seen something. There's movement, and that's what we need. We need inner movement. Yeah, many other things.
According to your own judgment, in what way is your work different from the millions of others painting around the world?
Wow. Well, I think most artists who strive as artists would say that theirs is different from everyone else, but there's a lot of imitation. I try to keep my work pretty different, like most people do. And how is it different? Okay, well, maybe, yeah. As I said, the eurythmy had changed my life, where I experienced space and movement and light, and that influences my art. I think that's the best way I can describe it.
Well, my last question, if people are wanting to follow your footsteps, what advice would you give them?
Well, it really depends on how much one wants to devote to art, if you have the opportunity and the resource, because most people have to work as well. But I think one has to, for many people, will have to come to a decision, if you're going to do something that you really love to do. That's the key, right? I think so. That's the simplest answer I can say. Yeah.
John, thank you for coming.
Okay.
Come on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Simon, are we